Nick Diaz could potentially walk into the ring like, check that out, man. I've been learning a little bit from my boy. Get him over here looking. You get him looking. And whack, 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 whack. And pose. Nick Diaz is on that level, man. Nick Diaz will trick you up, man. And then tuck and pose. Tuck and pose. Tuck and pose. So, Nick Diaz, what's been up with this guy? I mean, he's making a presence on social media. He could be hinting back at a return. I, for one, would love to see him back in the UFC. He was entertaining. He really brought it. He's my favorite fighter of all time. For my money, that's the guy. I absolutely love Nick Diaz. So, if he's teasing this return, I, for one, I'm in. I would love to see him come back. Look, Nick Diaz is no stranger to boxing. He's got really good hands. Now, he doesn't have powerful hands. He's not laying you out with his hands, but what he does is he peppers you. Nick Diaz's nickname should be Nick Peppers Diaz. Sounds like he's beating somebody up. He just peppers you. It's just relentless. It's just crazy how many times he puts hands on you. It's just bop, 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 bop. He's just relentless with how he's attacking you. Frank Shamrock said it best. It's not that they're just rocking you and knocking you, your equilibrium and taking you off balance or shutting your lights off. They're just so much, it's overwhelming and you're constantly being hit. It's like sensory overload for your body because you're constantly just being tapped. I mean, I have to assume that's pretty miserable. Now, I've always liked Nate Diaz, but I like Nate Diaz because he's Nick's little brother. Because Nick is so inactive and he fights so infrequently, I became a huge Nate Diaz fan. Nate Diaz, in my opinion, is like the B version of Nick. I think if Nick and Nate ever fought, Nate wouldn't want that smoke. I think Nick is just better everywhere that Nate is good. I think Nick is better. The potential of him coming back has me on cloud nine. I mean, I'm turned up. Like, I'm super excited for Nick. But what will we see out of him? What's he going to be like? He's almost 40 years old at this point. A lot of ring rust. On May 15th, Nick Diaz posted that he was training with the Gypsy King. Now, he was training boxing with the Gypsy King. What business does he have training with Tyson Fury? Was it a Photoshop opportunity? Was it two celebrities getting together in the same kind of sport, right? Combat sports. Just kind of lump it in a group together. Two combat sport athletes working with each other, or is Nick trying to get the hands back that he once had? Is Nick looking at a return? It's going to be really fascinating to find out. He's got a pretty big issue at hand, the ring rust. I'll be excited to see how he comes back. On May 15th, he took a photo and uploaded to Instagram that he was training with Tyson Fury. Does that mean he's ditched his old boxing coach to move in with Tyson Fury? Does it just mean it was a Photoshop opportunity or a photo opportunity for celebrities in combat sports world? Nick has posted photos training with his little brother Nate, who just had a fight. Now, it looks to me like they were grappling. There's some photos he uploaded to his Instagram that alludes that he's back in a gym, actively training with a current UFC fighter. To me, maybe he was just getting his brother ready for the fight. Maybe he's trying to get himself ready for a fight. It looks like they were training pretty hard. Nick seems focused. And not only that, have you checked his Instagram, his new body photo, that transformation Nick has? Nick and Nate. If you see the transformation that Nick has, he looks better than he has maybe ever physically. He looks like he's going to come in at a 170, maybe a 185 weight, but he looks thin. He's shredded. He's diced up. And it's never that he's ever been out of shape. He just looks really, really in shape. Like he's taking it serious. Dana White has said many times and many times before, this is not a sport that you can have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You've got to be all the way in. And right now it looks like he's all the way in. A few things worry me about Nick Diaz's return. One of those things is he's openly talked about how he's never really partied until his 30s. I don't know if any of you guys have partied hard in your 20s and then tried to party hard going into your 30s. It's a world of difference. It's not just a little bit of difference. It's a world of difference. My 20s, I could party all night, get 2-3 hours of sleep, get up and perform at work just as well as I could have had I gotten 8 hours of sleep. In my older age, if I have 2 drinks past 30, I'm hungover tomorrow. Terribly. If I go hard, if I try to party like I'm a teenager again, if I try to party like I'm in my 20s, I could potentially have a 2-day hangover. That's terrible. Nick didn't start till he was 20, so maybe the years of abuse on his body with the poisons, the toxins, affect him differently since he hasn't had years of damage like that to his body. However, it's a distraction, and it's a distraction that hadn't been there until he met Rhonda when he started drinking. You can follow his Instagram stories in the past few years, and Nick is a huge party boy. Now, it works for people like John Jones. It worked for Chuck Liddell. Will it work for Nick Diaz? Nick Diaz was the guy that was vegan, that did triathlons, that prided himself on health. Now with alcohol in the picture, is he the same Nick Diaz? And I'm not saying you can't be a high performer with alcohol. I'm saying, will he be the same on alcohol? Because we're just not used to seeing it with him being a competitor on that level. Another thing I would love to talk about is something I brought up earlier, ring rust. I mean, he fought George St. Pierre, took an extended time off, and fought Anderson Silva. And the coolest thing he did in the Anderson Silva fight was lay down and pose, waiting on Anderson to engage him. That fight, in my opinion, was probably a draw, but I score it differently because that's my guy in there. That's my hero. Like in the MMA world, Nick Diaz is my favorite fighter. Nick Diaz has been my favorite fighter since he knocked out ruthless Robbie Lawler. I just liked his style. I like him as a person. I think he's a lot deeper than people give him credit for. But what we can't ignore is the inactivity that he's had. He's inactive. This is a sport, like it's you use it or you lose it. As you get older, believe me, you lose it. Is he the same fighter in there? Is his reaction time the same? Is he as aggressive? Does he still have the speed that he had in his 20s, in his late 30s now? Speed is something that changes. Power is generally the last thing to go. But Nick Diaz is super durable. Super durable. Can he take the punishment that he could take in his 20s, in his late 30s? Inactive. Timing. Can he take the punishment that he used to have? Those are real questions. Then I've got the third and final thing that I wonder about. Who is he going to fight? Jorge Masvidal, one of the most active, baddest dudes in the UFC around his weight class? I hope not. Who's he going to fight? Conor McGregor? I mean, where's he coming? Is he getting a title shot like Chael Sonnen? Is he just going to pop back up and get a title shot? He's done it before. Could he do it again? His name's big enough. He has the popularity to come in and take that kind of fight. But who's he going to fight? Is he going to fight a young, hungry up-and-comer who can't wait to make a name off of Nick Diaz? I hope not. Is he going to come in against a guy on his way out similar to Nick? I hope so. Will that be the most entertaining fight? One that the masses will rush out to see? Maybe not. But it's a safe call. I'm just curious, what do we do with Nick? Who do we match him up against? Of course, we want to see him fight Masvidal. We want to see him fight Conor. But those are like the get him back for your little brother type of fight. I don't know that it's Nick has earned this type of fight. Nick Diaz is my favorite fighter. Put him in there with anybody you want to. I'm giving you my money. I'm just saying what makes the most sense. I also want him to go in and get a win. Selfishly, I want him to go in and win. When I watch Nick Diaz fight, I want him to win. Look, I appreciate you guys watching the video to this point. Please hit the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe. Check out the content. Leave me a comment down below what you think. You know, is the party boy going to affect him? Is his lifestyle choices going to affect him? Is his age going to affect him? Speed, timing, agility, ability to take punishment, is that going to affect him? And I've already said if he comes back, I want him to come in with a W. Who do you want him to come in with? Who's his best shot to give your boy the W from Nick? So who's his best shot against? I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for tuning in to another one of my MMA breakdown questions. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I love talking about Nick Diaz. I could do this all the time. Appreciate it.